Hello, everybody. Um, our, this video, I will be concentrating on raising your vibrations, and not just raising them, but keeping them up there. People will notice that their vibrations are going up and down, like yo-yos, as I stated in the last video, or was the one before. And if that's the case, then there's obviously something going on with you that needs to be rectified because you're not maintaining the connection. So today, hopefully, I can go into ways to achieve that, to stop yourself bouncing up and down. But I think first, I just want to do a small bit of house cleaning. By the house cleaning, this is the room where I would just normally do all my healings in. And I don't do in-house healings anymore. I want a better word, in-house. I prefer to do my healings outside, spontaneous, in the street. That to me is where the healing is really done, out there. Perfect strangers. You don't even have to know the person. If that is your intention, you will be guided to these people, or they will be guided to you. But you will soon learn to spot these people as they come to you. And you will notice a lot more sick people around you that you never took notice of before. People that might look normally healthy, but there's something about them that will catch your eye, and you kind of look at them. And you will start to notice the people who are ill, not feeling too good, and they're stopping, and because they just can't go on. They've reached the limit of their breath, and they're resting up against the wall, or pretending to be looking on their phone, or doing something like that, so they won't bring attention to themselves. Now, as I just said, this was my healing room, and I don't do it anymore. As a matter of fact, if you pardon me, one of my proudest possessions is this. This was done in, when was it, 2010? Is a poem that was written for me by a guy that I was guided to. And that's a long, long story that went on with him. But he was on the verge of giving up. He really went through so much. And I used to say to him, you know, if you were a horse, I'd have shot you a long time ago and put you out of your misery. It's just that, basically, I know, yeah. So he was actually on the point of giving up. But I was guided. I was deliberately guided. It's a long, long story, but a fascinating one. And what my fellow angels, counselors, guardians, had me go through in order to be able to go and help him. The pre-work that I hadn't a clue what was going on in the background. But I knew I was doing this, and I hadn't a clue why until the very end. And then I said, oh, so that's what all this was about. And they said, yes. But maybe another day I will go into that story. I don't think I ever told that story. But it's a fascinating story. But all he could give me at the end of the day, all he had was he wrote a poem. And that poem means an awful lot to me. More than anything else. More than that poem means an awful lot to me. Because of the gratitude that was in it. That was all he could do. All he was able to give me was he was able to write a poem down and give it to me. And that's it. No money. No, Jesus, no money. No, he didn't have it. I'm not interested in the money, quite frankly, but that's another story. But another talking point is this money. Yeah, that poem, all he had, all he was able to give me. I bump into him every now and again. And he's still suffering, but not as bad. He's going through different things. Yeah. So, I'm sorry, I'm going off topic there, as per usual. Now, a small bit more housekeeping. Just hopping back to the last video, I spoke about Satan, that little git. People don't like, I don't think people let me speak about that guy. Or they won't speak about him themselves. There's one guy, chap on the YouTube, not YouTube, but the social network thingy, and he's very, very well known. And he's, as you know, that's what he calls himself, as you know, with LT or as you know. And I discovered this guy was a preacher as well. And I often mention, as you know, in a few of the videos, and I don't know if people copped onto it, who I was hinting at. And he gives out a lot of good political information about the ongoings of what's happening in the political situation in the States. But I wish he'd stick to that instead of calling everyone he talks about demons. Okay, but he's coming from his Christian side of it. But no, but he has an almighty following, a huge following. And he won't come on he won't stick his face in the front of the camera. I think Dave is his name, but he won't stick his, but where I do draw the line with this guy is that when he starts calling people demons and starts bringing this religion, the God-fearing side into things, and where it's affected, and where it's affecting people. But apparently he's the reason I bring his particular channel up is that now I notice that Corey Good, of all people, is promoting a 4-day webinar. I think it's a webinar. It could be done online, but it's done on his channel to another guy for somebody promoting this guy on that channel. I didn't know that was being done, but apparently he's now promoting that. A 4-day introduction, step by step introduction, and how to live your life, how to be more spiritual, and all the rest at a cost. And I say, oh, crap. Here we go. And guess I was curious about the cost. So I looked down the price. This is just for it's done on the internet, over the internet, and I saw the price. All I did was that. So I said, "Oh, this is." I should have known this. The price was $222, not 220, or not 230, but 222. What a number to pick! Picked on the right number. So I wonder why he deliberately picked that price. No, I said, hey, come on. I said, no, enough is enough here. Enough is enough. Don't start fooling people. I've spoken before about how strongly I do feel when people are used or interfered with or abused. When you use people, you abuse people. And I won't stand for people that's been abused. Sorry, I won't take that. I draw the line in that when people start to be abused. No. And that to me is abusing people. that's not promoting service to others. That's promoting service to self. Line my pockets here, folks. Feed me and clothe me and put a nice swimming pool in my backyard. Nope. That's where I draw the line. Yeah. So that's why I'm speaking about this guy quite plainly now. Because he's now starting to, well, he's allowing his channel to be used. Why call it good? Who's promoting it? Who's promoting it? And that's stepping in and abusing people. And if there's anything I can do to stop that, I will. See, I care about people. That's all I care about, apart from my own family. Naturally, But I actually care and honestly care about each individual that's walking this planet today. Everyone. I don't ask for nothing. I give. I don't expect anything in return. All I may be expecting in return is a thank you. That's it. Max. So I think that's my rant. And we'll talk about your vibrations and how we're going to keep them up there. What I want you to do is, when your vibrations are going up and down, you're going from 3D way out and back up and out and back down, up, down, up and down. I want to try and keep your vibrations up there. No, you won't go into 4D. You will not. You are not. When your vibrations are up, doesn't mean you're in 4D, but you're in a 4D vibration. Okay. But you want to try and maintain that, and not to be. You'll find yourself bouncing up and down, bouncing up and down. 1 minute you're feeling terrific, top of the world. Next minute you're going, oh, jeez. You're flat. You're going up and down. And then maybe you're being interfered with. But you can, by raising your vibrations, you can stop all of that. So what I will go through is the process, a part of the process that I had to go through. Now, at the time when I was going through all of this process, I didn't realize what was going on until quite recently, when I discovered people were saying they were bouncing up and down. And I said, oh, okay. Yeah, I know what that's like. I know what it feels like because I've been through it. I've been through the long haul of that. But I'm not going to go through the long haul because there isn't time. I mean, time isn't time left. And there's no point in trying to reinvent the wheel again. So I'll just outline and go through what I went through. Sorry. Sorry about that little hiccup. Just have to reconnect the battery, the charger cable. Right. You remember the God question? I did. I asked a few videos back. Well, here's the reason why I asked that question. There's the real reason. and going back to it. Because if you were there at the time and you saw that video, and I asked the question about who do you place first? Who comes first? Your family, your money, your wealth, or lack of it, your children, your wife, husband, partner, grandchildren, a house. Does any of them come first before the Creator, before Source, before God? Would you put God in front of any of them? Did God pop into your mind first and say, yeah, the sources I would put first. The source I love the most. If you remember that question and how you answered that, and if you had to think about it a while, you say, I wonder. And you ran through the list in your mind. You went down the list in your mind. And source, God's source didn't pop up first instantly. Then you had work to do. As I explained to you in that video, you need to do some work. And this is why. That was a good few weeks ago now, and so hopefully you were doing some work even from back then. But if not, then maybe, and your vibrations are bouncing around and you would like to get them up and keep the vibrations higher. So you're operating in a 4D vibration, not a 4D world, but in a 4D vibration. You raise your vibration, then that'll be your answer. And that's what you live in. That's the way you think. That's the way you operate. It's the way you live your life. It will become your way of life. And you'll be a much, much better person for it. A really far better person for it. Nothing will disturb you. Nothing will shake you. Nothing will, you'll be like a rock. You'll be immovable once you start to live that kind of life. Now, what way did I start off? A long, long time ago. It's many, many years ago. And I wasn't putting God first. I wasn't. Until I was asked one day, what about God? And the person who asked me, like, and I was out walking, I don't know if I told the story or not, and he says, what about your father, the source, God? What about that? Isn't he missing all your life? I said, hey, listen, I have got enough on my plate now without trying to drag him into it. I've got enough dealing with you, my sister, and carrying on with you, and without you bringing him into the mix. I said, I wouldn't be able to cope with that. And I just carried on. But yeah, he had other ideas. So that's how it started with me. And that is why I'm kind of starting with you. What about it? Is he not in your life? After all, he's the one who came in here to help, to serve. He's the reason you're here. I haven't thought about that. He's the reason you're here. I can throw a bit of light in the subject. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. So yeah, think about that one. He's the reason you're here. You're supposed to be helping him out, serving him by helping the people. So let that sink in for a while as you go about your life, as you go about your daily routine. That he's the reason you are here. He's the reason why I'm here. He's the very same reason I'm here. It's the same reason that you're here. I've got my own things to do, and you have your things to do. You have your path to follow. Everybody has a different path, which is why I was kind of annoyed at this €222. So everybody can wander down the same path like Brown's cows. No, everybody has their own path. It's not a one size fits all. Okay, it's not a one size fits all. I'm talking about you, I'm speaking to you, have your own special path. You have your own job to do. And you've been given the tools to do that. You may not realize you've been given the tools, but you already have the tools within you. I'm not just spinning my wheels here and telling you that. You do have the tools within you yourself. I'm the proof of that. Okay, there was no internet or any Facebook. There was none of this stuff going when I had to go through all that. Well, I don't want you to go through what I went through. And it is a long, long road, but I want to shorten it down. So if you can pay a small bit of attention, I will try and guide you. I will make suggestions. Now, that was, I believe, and it was only coincidentally a few days ago I kind of discovered when I was rethinking everything, but before I started doing this particular video, when I started revisiting stuff, I realized that that was actually the introduction. It's then it started. This is why I'm starting you on the same path. You can't go down that road. You can't go down your path yet if you don't have a target, if you don't have a purpose, if you don't become the observer. Become the observer. You have a sense of purpose. You will know your job. What's that? Know the Creator. Know your Father. Know the love He has for you. Believe you me, when you get a smack of that love. Oof. And when you go down that road, maybe you will get a smack of it. It's almighty powerful. But I mean, the steps that I was taking throughout the time, unbeknownst to myself, was that I was introduced to Course in Miracles. Okay. Now that book, it is said, it was written, transcribed, and handed over by Jesus, by Yeshua. And as he transcribed it, that the right word? Yeah, he transcribed it to two professors in the States who didn't like each other, by the way, to begin with, and believed in none of it at the beginning. But yet these were the two that were picked to transcribe the work, interpret work, and write that book. But it is a heavy, heavy book. It is a heavy book in the weight itself, but it's a very, very in-depth book. But that was my training. That was part of my training. And just when I had read and reread and reread that book, that I started to get the gist of what was happening. And I was reading it I read it so much that eventually I kind of noticed that there was one small little paragraph over halfway through the book. And I happened to be looking at it one day, trying to, don't know why I was looking again, because it is a very, very difficult read. And if you have the fortitude and the determination to actually stay with it, you will have rewards. But again, that's not a quick fix. That takes time. Or maybe if you did read it once and get to know it and absorb the information coming from it, absorb the vibrations coming off of that book, I think, which is probably more important than maybe even reading it. But I spotted this paragraph, very short, there's maybe in one line, and then I was reading this line again, and I was after reading the book normally at this stage, and I said, "Well, blow me down." That was nicely. And I called Yeshua, and I said, "Come here, I want you. Come here." I said, "Come in here, come in." I said, this book," I said, "it's all written down here. It's all down. It's all out here in this one line or this one paragraph." And he started laughing. He says, "Yeah, but," he says, "you had to know the book to recognize that particular paragraph," which made a lot of sense. So he had a little giggle, and I had a little giggle. I had more than a little giggle, but so that was me and the Course in Miracles. But the miracle, the course, the reason I came across the book, I was given the book, more to the point, is because I was looking how to do healings at the time. Getting back to the healings again. How do I do? I wanted to heal people until I didn't want to heal. But I wanted to heal, and I wanted to know who was going to tell me how will I do this? What's the catch? And the catch is there's no catch. I didn't know that at the time. So once I started getting the gist and realized my purpose here, that I'm here to serve, just like you are. You are here to serve, not to help yourself. You're making an awful lot of money out of all of this, as people do. They try to make money for doing. No, I don't mind people making money. It's to help them survive, more than survive. Help to put food on the table, but not to go making fools of people while you're doing that. Which is why I prefer to do the healing spontaneously outside in the street, or going to a person's house, or wherever I have to come across it. That's where I would do the healing. And I get a far greater satisfaction out of that than I would when I used to bring the people in here. I get more, yeah, I do. I really I enjoy it far better. I get a much bigger oof out of it. Yeah. When you can walk away. You can walk away and smile to yourself, and you leave the other person there with their mouth open. So you got to change your mindset. I remember you're here and you're in a battle. There's a battle going on. There's a war going on with the souls, for the soul of the planet, for the souls on the planet. It's a battle against Satan's followers here, Lucifer's followers. It is an actual honor war. You don't hear any guns firing, at least not yet. But there is an all-out war between good and evil that you are a part of, And the reason that you are here is to be a part of that. But you can't be a part of it if you're struggling yourself. You need to be trained, retrained. And the way you fight that battle is with the tools that you are given and the tools that are inside of you. You need to bring out the love. You need to be part of it, not the egotistical side of it. So when you raise your vibrations up like that, you stay high. It's a great way to beat the ego. It's a great way to defeat the ego. Doesn't trouble you a whole lot because now it's you control the ego, not the other way around. Up to now, the ego was probably controlling your life and you didn't even know it. The ego was controlling you. Now you need to say, enough of that, and throw the manacles on it and say, now I control you. You will never defeat it and get rid of it entirely because you do need it. You still need it, but not to have it control you. By keeping your vibrations up there, you start to recognize all these things. You will get to know thyself. Man, know thyself. And Jesus says, man, know thyself. And when you know yourself, nothing can touch you. You're like Teflon. Nothing sticks to you. But just above it all, you'll have a much bigger perspective. You'll have a much bigger view. So that would be my suggestion, is focus on source. If you're going up and down, it means your connection to source is not sustainable. It's not fully plugged in. And you need to plug in and throw the switch. Okay. Now, again, each individual person has their own individual path. Full stop. So for me to tell you what you should do would be out of the question. Let nobody tell you what you should do, how you should think, or how you should operate. What's good for them may not be good for you. But I would suggest that knowing source and reconnecting to be a part of source. You're not apart from source. You're a part of source. Always were and always will be. Right now, you just don't realize it because of where you are. It's time to set the alarm off. Obviously, if you're looking at this, you're one of the light workers. You're one of the people who came here. You wouldn't be looking at this thing otherwise, putting up with me. Okay? Get to know source. Live in that heady atmosphere for a while. It's a different way of life. It's a much better, much cleaner, much more fulfilling life. And you'll be doing stuff you never realized was possible. You'll be operating at a level that you didn't realize before. Then you'll be in a better position to fight the battle. You'll be in a better position to fight Satan. Okay? far better. You'll be in a much stronger. They won't be dominating you anymore. You'll be dominating those bastards. To power my language, and it's a nice way to be. It's a very, very nice way to be. And your words will become very powerful. What you know you're doing to create this work. You're doing your Father's job, and you know it. And you know it. That is really, really powerful. Let me tell you, it's really powerful. Knowing you can go after these people now, and they won't be able to lay a finger on you. Won't be able to even raise a little finger. And just smack them down. And just smack them down. Because they can't do a bit about it. They'll run rather than take you on. They'll run. Yeah. So you're here to battle, you're here to fight, and you're fighting for the souls of humanity. Now that's some battle to fight, isn't it? Isn't that a worthy cause? There are no continuous slaps on the back by the way, saying, well done, well done. You know, you may not get that too often, but you may get it occasionally, but that's about it. You know, but you will know that you're doing the right thing. You know you're in the right place, you're in the right form, you're in the right frame of mind. All up there, isn't it? All up there. So what is there a special trick? I can't say there is a special trick, but there are no tricks involved. It's just pure and simply that you're going to do it. That's something. This is your purpose. You are a light worker after all, or whatever name you want to put on yourself. And the fact that you are looking at this means that you're one of the light workers. You're one of those who are here. You wouldn't have been here otherwise. You came here to do battle. So it's time to put on your armor. It's time for you to put on your armor, get out your swords and whatever it is that you're going to use. It's time, because there isn't too much time left for humanity. Very little time. I was speaking to a friend of mine last night, and he's been through the mill. I won't say his name, not even where he's from. But he's been through the mill. He's been used and abused. He's done stuff. Let's say he was doing a lot of stuff on the other side. He was doing really, really horrible stuff. And he was being used since he was a child. He's not a child anymore. Well, what he is very psychic, highly psychic, can do astral projection. He can do remote viewing. He's a specialist in remote viewing. One of his specialities. He's one of his other specialities I won't mention, but I wouldn't have liked to run across his path. But he's out of it, and he wants to stay out of it. But it's an hourly struggle for him to stay out of it. because of what he goes through, what he still goes through, but they won't leave him alone. But what the reason I brought him up was that I happened to speak to him last night, and then I says, "What are you foreseeing for the future?" I said, "You're doing remote viewing." I said, "What? Have you remote that?" "Oh yeah," he says, "I have remote. I see I remote view all the time, constantly." And he says, "There is something huge coming." He's seeing a lot of earthquakes. He's seeing a lot of trouble on the earth. An awful lot of trouble upcoming, which confirms everything that I've been saying, that you need to be prepared. It's not that far off. It's imminent. And this is coming out now in umpteen sources, that there's something huge coming. You need to be prepared. So if the internet goes down, what are you going to do if you're not prepared? How are you going to help people? If you can't prepare yourself, how are you supposed to prepare the other souls and help them in their hour of need? How are you going to help humanity? You need to prepare quickly, so that you are then in the position to raise up your vibrations and help raise their vibrations as much as you can. Chances are, if you're looking at this, that you're you probably are one of the part of the 33% of the 30% who are going to go through the ascension. But you need to do what you came here to do. So let that be your spur. And that'll drive you on. Don't go back and realize that you failed to do what it is you came here to do. That must be really, that would be hard to contemplate, wouldn't it? You go back and you look around and you'll see that you were just too bloody stubborn, not too much in your own life to care about anybody else's life. That would be bloody awful. I don't think you'd be too a happy camper at the end of it. So make yourself a happy camper now and start focusing on that, focusing on your job. That part of that job is to fight evil, fight Satan. Yeah, that guy, as you know, he won't even say Satan. Do you credit that? He won't even say the name. Can't mention the name. He'll spell it. And there's a whole lot of other words he'd spell rather than mention the name or mention the word. He'll spell the bloody word. What kind of fucking nonsense is that? Spell the word. I mean, well, there's a whole lot of words he'll be spelling it there when he's talking, speaking about all the different subjects. SATAN, and he'll spell pedophile out, and children suffering, can't mention any of that. This is the religious indoctrination again coming through. Fear of Satan. You're afraid of that little kid. How many people have you heard saying that? How many people have you heard on the internet, on YouTube, or anywhere, calling Satan a little git? That's putting it mildly. But he's the guy, well, his followers, not him, Lucifer, he's under the heel, as I already said. And if you want to know who Gabriel is, when I said me, yeah, if you want to know about all that, go and look at the videos. I'm not going to go into all that again. There are more important things to be talking about. How come I call myself Gabriel? And if you're only new to the channel, welcome, by the way. You're very welcome. And I hope you get something out of it. And maybe your eyes are opened a little bit. Don't be afraid to talk about that, guys. Show no fear to him and not his followers, not his followers. Because that's what they rely on. The very mention of his name. Even though you were originally in his domain. Earth was his domain. Even Jesus admitted that. But Jesus came to stop it, put an end to it, to reclaim it for souls, for his Father, for my Father. He came to claim it back. June 2 years ago, 3 years ago, sorry, my memory is going. All of that, Satan no longer had any claim that he imagined he did, was removed from him. In June, what was 19, that was 2019, was it? 2 years ago. And I remember it well happening. I was part of it. When all his so-called power was all removed. When he was shackled, I was there. I was part of it. But the cleanup needs to be done. Cleanup. This is where you come in. You need to start cleaning up. Push out the dirt. You know who they are. All his followers. And they're coming to the fore. Have you noticed? Why are they coming out now in their droves? They really have their flags flying. They're coming out of the woodwork. The more that comes out, the more be exposed, the more work you'll have to do. But now you'll have the power and the tools to do it. Your high presence, your high vibration presence, that alone will be enough to do it. Do you get me? That alone, your presence, your very being, is all that will be required. And if you want to do other things, wow, so much the better. If you really want to get involved, if you really want to get to roll up your sleeves and say, let's go after these bastards. Fine. But your presence is required. Your presence is required. So all of you looking at me, you know who you are. You know who you are if your vibrations are going up and down. You know your own answer to the God question. Love is the key. Love, when you love, you'll forgive. You can't go into love if you haven't forgiven. If there's somebody or someone that maybe you've wronged in some way along the line, and that or someone has wronged you that you haven't forgiven, that needs to be forgiven. In here, you need to forgive it. Forgive yourself. And you yourself are perfect. You yourself are all powerful. You yourself have full authority. Think on that one. You have full authority. Raise your vibration. Talk to source. Talk to your father. It's a great old start. Talk to your father like you would talk to your own father. But only you have more freedom to talk to source. You have much more freedom than even talking to your own father. Now, if you say, oh, well, I talk to him all the time, but he doesn't go anywhere. Wrong, wrong, wrong. When you speak to your father, if you stay silent for a minute or two, then you'll hear it. Then you hear the voice, you hear the little whisper. At the beginning, it'll just be a whisper. It will answer you back. Very, very quiet. Very quiet. Until you recognize. Meditate. Meditate. Relax. Don't go into fear. Stay away from the fear. And if you're afraid of Satan, then you're in fear. And you are not fear. Let me see now. When you connect back with the Creator, you will then be more connected to your own guidance system, your own guardians, who will now be in a far stronger position to guide you along, and you will have a much more open communication with them. You will get a lot more knowings. It will also help to bring your ego under control. It's one easy method of doing it, without having to go into all the other preambles that I went through. That is kind of the dummy version I just given. Okay, just simply isn't go through. There isn't time left to go through everything that I went through. I went through years and years of all of this, to get to the position I'm in now. Whereas you are in a great position to be able to step right in, and only with a small bit of effort. That's all it requires, a small little bit of effort to help change things. It'll improve your complete outlook. It'll improve your communication with people, your reaction, and your conversations with people. Because nothing will faze you. You just go, and you just get on with it. The connection, once you have the connection plugged in, and you've now got once you're connected in, you've got the ego under control. If you say you got the ego under control and you haven't done any of that, then you don't have the ego under control. You do not have the ego under control. The ego has you under control. Okay? The ego has got you under control, despite all your protestations. Oh, I got the ego under control, and I'm this and I'm that. You're bullshit. That's what you think. I know I can be very blunt sometimes, but sometimes that's what I take. And I think I've gone rambling long enough here. So these are the questions that some of the people were asking on the last video, and I have been saying I would do a video like this. I had no idea what way this video was going to go. I really don't. I don't know how it's going to go. I just, all I knew, I had to start this off and I'd go along. So think about the words I've just saying. Think about who you are and why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing. You are in a battle. You are in a fight. This is a fight of good versus evil here. Forget all the other politics that's going on around. They're just side shoots. They're just side wars. All of that politics. Because nothing can stop what is coming. Okay? Nothing can stop what is coming. And I'm not talking about politics. And it is going to be biblical. But you're also a part of it. You're part of it. If you want to be. If you want to be. If you choose to be. You know, God knows we could do with all the help we can get. We really could. Really, really could. Because mankind is on a knife edge at the moment. We need all hands on deck. It's up to you to answer the call. You answer the call this far, why only complete half the journey? Put on your armor. Put on your God suit, which is what you are. Go do your work. Do what you came here to do. You came here. No one twisted your arm. You weren't forced to come in here. You volunteered. You put your hand up. You volunteered. You says, I'll do it. I'll do it. And now here you are. Are you going to do it? Or have you taken your hand back down again? So which one have you done? Hand up? And you've got you taking your hand back down, say, I don't want to be in. Remember who you're saying no to. And any questions I want that you need answering, you can message me or ask a question on the comments. And any way I can help, I will do it. I can only guide you in certain directions, in certain ways. You must do the bulk of the work. I can't tell you your path. Every single one of you have your own individualized path. You see where you can be led astray by all these. I can do your 4-day classes, or I can do your 4-day seminars or 3-day seminars for the bobs or the dollars in most cases. No. Don't have other people tell you what to do. Focus, meditate, pray if you want, if that's what you're on the call, but don't get down on your knees. Make your reconnection to source. Put the plug in. Reconnect the plug and throw the switch. That's all you need to do is plug it in. Up there. The rest is up to you. So I love you and I will leave you. And Godspeed. Answer the call. Love you all.